Hello there. My name is Yana, and this is another episode of Books and Makeup. This time, I'll be creating this look, which is already on my face, so there will be some time traveling. And at the same time, I will be discussing the book called The Grey House, written by the Armenian writer Mariam Petrosyan. The book originally is written in Russian, and in Russian it is called The House in Which. There is a magical, absolutely wonderful translation of it into English, and I'll be reviewing the English translation called The Grey House. So yeah, let's get into it. Hard. So, a young lady named Mariam, living in Yerevan, had daily or weekly, depending on her schedule, little escapism routes. She was writing and creating the world of her own, set somewhere near, somewhere far, somewhere in the future, in the past, or in the present. At the epicenter of that world, like a butterfly pinned to the paper, was a house, grey, unpolished, taciturn. As the years went by, Mariam got married, had kids, but continued once in a while running from her daily chores to this imaginary world of her own, as real as the one we are living in. Mariam was writing about the house for 18 years, during which it filled to the brim with different voices and distinct characters who loved, hated, feared, built relationships, walls and rules, while all inevitably growing up. Mariam never wanted to publish the book. She and her husband were basically the only readers of the manuscript, which really piled up to thousands of pages. And this pile of paper, victim of a whimsical fate, found its way to the desk of a publisher who fell in love with it. And I can't really blame him for that. The decision was made that the manuscript had to be combed, finessed, finalized, and presented to the public as a finished book. The book named The Grey House by Mariam Petrosyan. So let's explore it. As we come closer to this old and lonely building with a somber facade, we realize that it might have been white when it was built, but it has soon become grey. It is bristling with aerials, it is strewn with cables, it is raining down plaster and whipping from the cracks. Nobody likes the Grey House. The inhabitants of the nearby districts would rather not have it next to them. They would rather it didn't exist at all. On the walls, we see a few lines written by an unsteady hand as if it was trembling. And these lines say the following: "Welcome, all you aborted, all you preemies and posties, all you dropped, thrown out, flightless. Welcome, children of the weeds." The Grey House, or The House in Which in Russian, is a book about a school for children with disabilities. The teenagers use wheelchairs, prosthetics, they fight some unknown or well-known diseases, cope with syndromes, and each and every of them has some kind of a defect due to which their parents or society cast them out and left them in this alienated and dark house. However, these disabilities are never at the heart of the book. And for teenagers, they are part of them. And the kids don't even pay attention to their defects, if those can be called as such at all. From the corridors to the crawl spaces and to the classrooms and the dorms, the inhabitants of the house are grouped into 6 tribes, each and every of them with a distinct style and personality and the governing laws. So let's meet the main pack of the characters. When we step into the house, we are met by Smoker. Smoker will be our first guide in the book, as he is a relative newcomer himself. He doesn't know all the rules and all the laws of the house. So he'll be stumbling, asking tons of questions, making mistakes, and navigating his way just like us. We meet Smoker as he's kicked out of the so-called Pheasants tribe, the first group, because he is wearing the red sneakers that are too colorful for that conformist, accountable, steady tribe. Smoker is relocated into the fourth tribe, where his sneakers are not that eye-catchy anymore. And this feeling of not belonging will be following Smoker and will be on his tail anywhere he goes, well, anywhere he rides, better to say, on his wheelchair. Tabaki will later write in his diary that they accepted Smoker into the fourth tribe because this loneliness was like a halo around Smoker, visible to any inexperienced eye. Tabaki, the jackal, large-eared, tiny boy, loud and untidy, singing songs that makes others howl and wearing 4 vests at once, with countless pockets filled with countless trinkets. Tabaki hates only one thing in the world, which is watches. Then there is Noble. Noble is honey-haired, grey-eyed, beautiful, looking like an elf prince, who can't stand his own reflection in the mirror. Blind. Blind is the leader of the fourth tribe, and he's the house leader. Blind is part of the house, and the house is part of Blind. Because of his condition, he's sensitive, but yet he's powerful and strong. One might think that being blind makes him receptive and intuitive towards the true selves of others, whereas in fact, blind is sort of visionless towards other people, as he's not really interested in them, apart from his best friend's Sphinx. That is probably because at the center of Blind's universe is the house as the life organism, and he is interested in the house's inhabitants as in the part of this life organism rather than as in individuals. Blind is truly the eyes of the house. Sphinx, whom I already just mentioned, previously known as Grasshopper, he is the right-hand man of Blind with prosthetic hands. While Blind naturally feels at home in the house, for Sphinx learned it the hard way. And Sphinx is more of the voice of reason and wisdom and the values in the book. And he's making mistakes, yet still Sphinx is firm in the direction to take for the tribe and for the house. And the house really got under his skin, but he didn't really want that. Exceptionally for the book, we learn Sphinx's early story when he, 7-8 years old boy, was brought to this house by his mother on a hot summer day. And they were walking for a very long time from a bus stop on a bubbling grey pavement on which his mother's shoes left marks. And Sphinx was thinking that if he lost sight of her, he'd be able to find way back to her following this trail of silly punctures. He never goes back home, nor do most of the other kids. And all his flaws aside, I must say that Sphinx is one of my favorite characters. And he has a special place in my heart, probably sharing it with the next character I'm gonna talk about, Alexander. Alexander is another character whose arrival to the house is described in detail. Um, Alexander doesn't have really disabilities or any visible defects. It almost seems that his family just couldn't keep up with his odd behavior or weird personality anymore and just decided to find a new home for him. I don't want to give out too many details about Alexander as not to create spoilers, but I will just describe him probably in the words of Tabaki, who says Alexander is a fairy tale visitor from a different world, because sad people with knowing eyes and mysterious abilities do not appear in piranha families for no reason or by accident. Alexander is a complex character with a heart-wrenching storyline. And I'm really surprised that not much of prime time is given to him in the reviews that I've read, because I think this is one of the most wonderfully crafted characters in this book. Overall, the book is dark, not light-headed at all. And it's not only because these kids and characters in the book all have disabilities. As I said earlier, they're never at the cornerstone of the narrative, and they don't really influence the storyline as much. Surely these kids were abandoned, outcast already once in their life, so they do have issues with their behavior, and it has left an imprint on their behavior and on their abilities to build, relationships. But this is probably one of the most beautiful things in this book, that not knowing or having any other family, these kids are building their own family within this house. And it might be as cruel, as loving, as intense, as not letting go its firm grip as any other family living in the nearby districts, in those indifferent apartment buildings that surround the Grey House. These lost and thrown out kids learn their ways to find friends, lovers, to have fun, to fight fears, and to live their life, really, and to find their ways through the life and find their voices, find their places in the society. That's why we have this tribe system in the house. And they're all, of course, afraid of the outside world that already has been once hostile towards them. So they have no reason to trust the outside world, and to trust that the society that has once outcast them would be welcoming them now when they reach 18 years old and leave the Grey House for good. The book has many layers. The dimensions of the house are peeling off as we keep on reading, and it's a gripping and bewildering experience. Surely there have been comparisons with Harry Potter, Lord of the Lord of the Flies. Wow, that would be probably my future husband. And Peter Pan. And although it probably is a great read for teenagers, I believe that the book suits for all ages, because we can learn pretty much from these characters who are almost in a Tolkienist way, sound very mature and adult while all still being kids. There are basically two camps of those who adore the book and those who hate it, and I'm surely in the former, but I think there is no way and no test to find out beforehand where you'd belong to, and I think one should just read and decide for themselves. For sure, the narrative at times is muddled and disarrayed, and the ending can even seem like rushed. But it's all because the book hadn't been meant to see the light of day, really. And I think it can be really forgiven. For me, I'm not confused personally. I still see the magic and depths of the characters, those of the house and its inhabitants that Mariam created, and really crafted out. And I'm not really, again, confused by the disarrayed maybe narrative. I'm more immersed to read and follow the footsteps or the rides of the characters and their evolvement and their development. Throughout the years that Mariam was writing the book, the characters, she said, already started growing and living their own lives, so she didn't almost had a say in the direction of their development and in what paths they want to take. It's a very interesting thing when, you know, the characters almost start dictate what they want to say and where they want to go to the writer than the other way around. And as I said, really, one just needs to start reading, and either you'll get immersed in this world Mariam created, or you'll dislike the grey house straight away and it won't let you explore its corridors past the entrance. Alright, so now when this look is finalized, I guess, I hope, because I don't see myself on the camera, so I do hope that it looks nice. Yes, so fingers crossed. I guess I will find that out later. I already mentioned that the book is not lightheaded, that it's quite dark, and it's a heavy reading, to be honest. But at the same time, it's filled with light and hope, because at the core of it are very human values. Being there for one another, love, friendship, faith, and also very, sort of everyday nuances are opened up there in a very interesting light and under a very particular angle. How to find your place in the society, how to feel belonging, and sometimes when you don't really feel that belonging straight away, how to create it, how to make your way through, and how to push for what you feel is right, and how to push for yourself and for your true self. So in this sense, I think it's a valuable lesson, either for kids and teenagers who would read that book, or for adults, for whoever really. And again, I will repeat myself, but the characters are crafted out so wonderfully and so vividly, and they're such beautiful humans in the book that I think you fall in love with almost all of them, even though I mentioned that I have two favorite ones. But I do think that it's easy to fall in love with all of them, even though they do some bad stuff or some ugly things or some mistakes. But that's what all of us do, inevitably. That's what teenagers do, adults, kids, whoever. Again, and I think for this, falling in love, learning some lessons, and just, getting immersed in this very particular, very interesting and very original world. Even though, again, there are comparisons to Harry Potter, Lord of the Flies, and Tolkien and Peter Pan, I think it's a very original and standalone work. And even just out of curiosity, I would really recommend to read it and get to know what is hidden in that grey house and what it is after all. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed our today's discussion. probably makeup as well. I hope you got the sparkle of interest and curiosity towards the book. Or if you already read the book, please leave your comment. Let me know what you think of it. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Which camp are you in? And I hope to see you soon. And I wish you a great day. And I hope you're just fine. I hope you're well.